Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh, everyone. Welcome back to another weekend, Saturday evening. So moving on to the another interesting topic, which always I was always fascinated to understand how, as a Gursikh, as a Sikh, as a follower of Guru Nanak Dev Ji's Maharaji's teachings, how as per Gurbani we can bring Gurbani, we can start implementing Gurbani into our daily lives, how I can personally do things using Gurbani. And this one topic which back in, I think maybe 10-12 years ago, when I was doing studies, got some time that time at Luffa University, and figured out that what is this concept of anger and how we can actually get help from Gurbani to understand this concept, and then how we can implement Gurbani into our lives to control or to manage this concept. Because when we are young, we are following so many things since ages and ages, but many times we didn't get a chance to understand why we are following few things. Being a scientific mindset, ajkal de kaljug da dimag, is karke I just thought ki let's research about this whole topic, that how Gurbani can help to manage the anger, what is the role of anger in our day-to-day lives, and is there anything which can help us to manage or control or keep in our own thing. To go into detail, before we go into detail, let's understand what is actually anger. Many books, many newspapers, many different articles, digital websites have mentioned many tons of data about this, what is anger, and some of them understood properly, some of them not yet, some of them are still researching. It could be defined in various different ways. For me, when I started understanding, anger for me was one of the human emotions or feelings out of our own physiological ego's passions. All of us are egoistic, and ਸਾਡੇ ego ਦੇ passion ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ generate ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੋਇਆ ਇੱਕ emotion is called anger. In other words, anger is internal state of consciousness which renders ਜਿਹੜਾ man ਅਸੀਂ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ ਸਾਨੂੰ blind ਕਰ ਦਿੰਦਾ ਆ ਆਪਣੇ ਅੰਦਰ ਦੀ ਲਾਈਟ ਨੂੰ ਸਮਝਣ ਵਾਸਤੇ. ਸਾਨੂੰ ਨਜ਼ਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਆਉਂਦਾ who we are. This is what anger do. This is how anger can be explained. ਇਸੀ ਕਰਕੇ ਗੁਰਬਾਣੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਵੀ ਬਹੁਤ ਥਾਵਾਂ ਤੇ ਕ੍ਰੋਧ ਵਰਡ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਐਂਗਰ ਦਾ ਮੈਂਸ਼ਨ ਆਇਆ ਹੈ. ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਨੇ ਕ੍ਰੋਧ, ਗੁੱਸਾ, ਇਹੋ ਜਿਹੇ ਪਿਆਰੇ ਵਰਡ ਵਰਤੇ ਆ ਐਂਗਰ ਵਾਸਤੇ. ਐਂਡ ਫॉर ਨੈਕਸਟ 35 odd minutes we'll try and understand what all Maharaj have said about anger, how many types of anger there are, how we can understand that we are actually within the anger state or within the state of anger, and how then can we control once we understand that we are actually into the anger state. Before we go how we can manage or control, let's understand how does anger arise in the first place. Now ਆਪਾਂ ਸਾਰੇ ਬਾਣੀ ਪੜ੍ਹਨ ਵਾਲੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ. I'm sure ਆਪ ਜੀ ਨੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਸੰਥਿਆ ਵੀ ਕੀਤੀ ਹੈ, and ਆਪ ਜੀ already learning ਗੁਰਬਾਣੀ, ਸਹਿਜ ਪਾਠ, ਅਖੰਡ ਪਾਠ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਦੀ ਰੋਲ. Many times we have come across this word called anger or krodh. But ਇੱਕ ਜ਼ਰਾ ਧਿਆਨ ਨਾਲ ਆਪ ਜੀ ਵਿਚਾਰ ਕਰਿਓ that at many places this anger comes, this krodh words come with calm, krodh. ਇਹ ਦੋ word ਬਹੁਤ ਥਾਵਾਂ ਤੇ ਇਕੱਠੇ ਆਏ ਨੇ. And how and why Maharaj put these two things together. So false ego, ਜਿਹੜਾ ਆਪਣਾ ego ਹੈਗਾ ਆ, that actually gives rise to the calm, the compelling materialistic desire to indulge in sensory temptations. In simple words, calm. We're not going into the calm detail today. Let's figure out krodh topic today. And this lust thing, calm thing, then clouds our understanding of life. जिन्नी भी साड़ी life हैगी या जिन्नी भी, if you notice whenever we say there are panj chor, there are panj thieves, we speak them in order. Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh, Ahankar. Kam is the top one. Krodh comes a second. Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh, Ahankar. There's a reason. Because this is the initiation of all other things in the life. Now this lust is consequently lust. What lust do? Lust make us start living in false values, or living up to false values. External looks, wealth, name, fame, success, popularity, expectations, false concepts, fantasies, and you name it. All of them are a result or consequence of lust, or ourselves living in this kind of fake understanding. Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj, what they say about this lust, that how they see, how they perceive this thing. Maharaj Sukhmani Sahib ch kende a, jo jana मैं जोबनवंत सो होवत बिस्टाका जंत. In very plain Punjabi, very plain English, जो भी अपने आप, whosoever say I'm very beautiful, I'm very handsome, I'm very charming and so on, in the eyes of Maharaj, Maharaj says that you are not more than mere insect of the dirt of human waste. So hovat bista, bista mane human waste, bista ka jant, jant mane kida. So you're not more than an insect of the human waste if you yourself start saying, oh wow, I'm beautiful, and then so on. ਜਿਹੜੇ ਉਹ fake world ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਰਹਿਣਾ ਪਸੰਦ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ. Now, once we become victim of lust and start living this in our own understanding of the life, then starts the frustration. Frustration of unfulfilled lust results in anger. ਜਿਹੜਾ ਆਪਣੀ unfulfillment of lust related activities ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦੀਆਂ ਆ, that then results into the anger. It's isda nahi hai saad sangat ji ki lust is just related to the calm of two bodies becoming one. Lust is a kind of feeling to attach with anything. Some people have got their pens and they keep the pens in their mouth. They start teething the cap of the pen. Some people just keep doing something with their hairs. Some people just cutting off their nails with their teeth. These all sensory kind of touch temptations, they all termed as lust, which then give rise to the frustration if something doesn't happen as per their expectation. This frustration, this feeling of frustration when we don't get something, when we want something, or something doesn't happen when we desire to make it happen in some way, shape, form, in particular way, then that results into anger. In a simple word, in the day-to-day example, most of us are parents, or let's say youngsters who will become parents one day, go to the jobs, manager gave us a task, or the senior gave us a task, and we didn't manage to complete on time. Now there is a fear in the mind that I have not completed the job. However, if senior doesn't say anything, it's fine. But when they say something, that frustration of non-fulfillment then turns into anger. And if you don't control it, then it leads to further friction with senior management, and then job to jana penda hai. Sometimes people just throw the towel away themselves. कि मेरे बस दी गल नहीं है भाई, मेरे कोल काम नहीं होना इत्थे. Why? Because fulfillment नहीं हो रही है. Frustration वधी जा रही है. So anger is a feeling which upset the response coming from the body, which sometimes we won't able to manage. So first, lust, the first jida hega lust is the first perverted son, jida sada blind mind hega oda. And second perverted son is the anger. Is karke kaam krodh, and I will go through many panktis in next few minutes, which will make it more clear ki why Maharaj have taken these two things together, or Maharaj have given these two things together, because they are the most harmful in terms of Maharaj's list of human, or let's say spiritual destruction. Jadon, let me give me one example here. I said calm and krodh came together. Now, when I say they are very, very powerful, what Mara says about it, Kaam, Krodh, Sabal, Sansara. Sabal mane sab to zyada. Sabal mane ek hunda bal, bali, balwan, ek hunda sabal, bahut bali, bahut balwan. So Kaam, Krodh, Sabal, Sansara, bahut balwan ne. Kaam aur Krodh dono. Kaam, Krodh, ji meh chot, ਇਹ ਦੋ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਨੇ ਇਹ ਜਿਹੜੀ soul ਹੈ ਕਾਮ ਕ੍ਰੋਧ, they are the wounds of the soul. They attack the soul, and that's how they take us away from liberation, from the connection with Maharaj, with Vaheguru. ਜੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਐਂਗਰ ਨੂੰ ਇੱਕ ਹੋਰ ਐਂਗਲ ਨਾਲ ਦੇਖਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਏ, then this is also a result. It's also a result when someone put in a undesired situation, a threatening situation where his own capabilities are obscured or hindered. In other words, ਜਿੱਥੇ ਸਾਡੀ pride, ਜਿੱਥੇ ਸਾਡੀ ਕਹਿ ਲਓ ਕਿ ਹਉਮੈ ਨੂੰ ਨਹੀਂ ਥਾਂ ਮਿਲਦੀ, ਉੱਥੇ ਸਾਡੀ ਉਹ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਫੀਲਿੰਗ ਹੈਗੀ ਆ, ਉਹ ਹਉਮੈ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਗੁੱਸੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਬਦਲ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਹੈ. It changes into the anger. Now again, that makes us frustrated, that makes us this unfulfillment feeling comes in, and then that starts attacking rest of the system. Now when this lust make us turn into anger, and this anger then turns into the fear which is basically when anger boils, then we become fearful. Two kids are fighting, or let's say two individuals are fighting, and one is shouting at another one. They started shouting because of the anger, but the actual action of shouting is happening because they are fearful that this person may not overpower the first person. The shouting, the slapping, the thrashing, the weapon using, that is not the action of anger. That's the consequence of anger. Those are the actual actions which are happening because of our own fear, internal fear. मैं कहते हार ना जावा, ओ मेरा नुकसान ना हो जाए, मैं अपनी आवाज़ ऊंची करूँगा, हाँ मैं गाना कड्डूँगा, हाँ मैं लड़ाई करूँगा. Because anger made us reach that stage, and then we start becoming fearful. अपने अंदर डर आ जाता है, डर ताकि असी हार ना जाइए, असी पिछे ना रह जाइए. और जदों बंदा इस सिचुएशन च होंदा, when someone reaches to this stage, then they have got nothing no lena dena with anyone, whether it's elders, whether it's government, whether it's any kind of disaster, or even it's a god. When person reaches to this stage, they don't see anything. They cannot see anything, because the only thing they just want to get out of their own fearful situation. अपने डर तो बाहर निकलना चाहते हैं, and they just do all possible things to get out of their dar. Now someone may ask you, but then from where this anger comes, or what is the actual origination or inception? कित्थों आउंदा है anger? कित्थों आ रहा है anger? There very simple answer in two ways. We discussed few weeks ago about the paralabdh karam, about our own karams. One way of getting anger is from our own paralabdh karam. कि साडे जेड़े कर्म असी कीते या जिहड़ी साडी, in scientific way we can say the genetic system, ਜਿਹੜਾ अपने पेरेंट्स तो साढ़े कोलों आया है, genetically आया है, और साढ़े विच ego ਦੇ ਸ਼ਨ आए ने, that ego have turned us into an angry person. Now for example, ਹੁਣ किसी ਦਾ डैडी ਆ, ਉਹ ਬੰਦਾ ਸ਼ਰਾਬ ਪੀਂਦਾ ਆ, ਉਹਦੇ ਘਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ 24 ਘੰਟੇ ਸ਼ਰਾਬ ਦਾ ਮਾਹੌਲ ਹੈ, ਲੜਾਈ ਝਗੜੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ, ਤੇ ਉਹਦੇ ਘਰ 'ਚ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਬੱਚੇ ਨੇ ਜਨਮ ਲੈਣਾ ਹੈ, ਉਹਨੇ ਸਾਰਾ ਟਾਈਮ ਇਹੀ ਦੇਖੀ ਜਾਣਾ ਆ, ਇਹੀ ਸੁਣੀ ਜਾਣਾ ਆ, ਉਹੀ ਸਾਰੀਆਂ ਦੀ ਸਾਰੀਆਂ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਉਹਦੀ ਵੈਲਿਊਜ਼ ਹੈਗੀਆਂ ਉਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ, ਉਹਦੀ ਸਾਰੀ ਦੀ ਸਾਰੀ ਉਹੀ ਚੀਜ਼ ਉਹਦੇ ਅੰਦਰ ਐਂਟਰ ਹੋਈ ਜਾਣੀ ਹੈ. That will go very far. So one thing is that someone have bought all these things from birth. Another way of seeing it, it actually comes from the external sources. अपने workplace तो, अपनी family तो, when we live in that particular situation where there is anger going on from the surrounding, ते असी pick up कर लेंदे हैं. Now for example, let me give you an example. ਹੁਣ असी I was when Bachitra Singh was young, so when I used to wear the Dumala in this kind of way and used to put Shastra, he used to watch me and was see me, and then he started wearing the same kind of dimala. He started following me. The same way, very similar way, when parents do something, children do follow them. And this is a capability. If parents are getting angry at every single point, let's say husband and wife, they're fighting with each other, children are watching. They're watching you, and they will pick up one day. We may not be able to catch that they have already picked up, but they will pick up, because this is what they're learning from the surroundings out there. Now, so the two ways from which anger can enter into the body, one is the paralabd karam, second is the surroundings. Now, can we change paralabd? No, we cannot. Yes, we can bring it down with the help of Gurbani, but we cannot change. We need to remember. Second thing is our surroundings. Again, last time, we cannot change the continuous surroundings around ourselves. However, we can try and change ourselves. We can try and control ourselves, that how we have to behave within that kind of surrounding. Another Gurbani Pankti which says that no matter whatever may happen, this lust and anger will come with everyone, or is present with everyone. Kaam krodh ka cholda sab gal aaye paaye. Jehड़ा ਕਾਮ ਕ੍ਰੋਧ ਦਾ ਚੋਲਾ ਆ, ਇਹ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਗਲਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੈਗਾ ਆ. Lust and anger, all have come wearing robes of lust and anger. Guru Granth Sahib Maharaj di Pankti. So it's not like it's just unique to some people and not unique to other people. Now, ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਵਿੱਚ anger ਹੈਗਾ ਆ. But when it gets out of control, problem ਤਾਂ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ. ਸਾਨੂੰ ਹੁਣ ਇੱਕ ਚੀਜ਼ ਇਹ ਸਮਝਣ ਦੀ ਕੋਸ਼ਿਸ਼ ਕਰਨੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ some people use different words also about the anger, but we need to try and understand and break down different forms of anger also. And in next, let's say, few minutes, we try to understand what are the different forms of anger and which are up to the mark that we can go. And then once you cross your threshold level of anger, then that's where the danger is. That's where you start your deterioration. And once it gets out of control, as I mentioned earlier, it then turns destructive. It then leads to the problems of violence, problems of aggression, problems at work, problems in personal relationships, problem in mental and physical well-being. Yes, Gurbani says things about physical and mental well-being also. We'll go through the Pankti in 1 minute. Problem of overall quality of life. 24 ਘੰਟੇ ਚਿੜ ਕਰੀ ਜਾਣਾ, ਲੋਕਾਂ ਦੀ ਨਿੰਦਿਆ ਕਰੀ ਜਾਣਾ, just do slandering, just do dirty talks, just to do those things which you don't even need to think about. You know, when you think about. But once you have become victim of your own anger, then this just become norm. Aggression ਜਿਹੜਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਆ, ਐਂਗਰ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਆ, ਇਸ ਕਈ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਆਦਤ ਹੀ ਬਣ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਹੈ. ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਸੁਭਾਅ ਵੀ ਇਹੋ ਜਿਹਾ ਬਣ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਆ ਕਿ unless and until they become angry, they are not able to articulate their thing properly. And this is the problem. That's where the situation goes out of control. ਹੁਣ ਅਸੀਂ ਐਂਗਰ ਨੂੰ ਕਿਸੇ ਹੋਰ ਨਾਮ ਨਾਲ ਵੀ ਦੇਖ ਸਕਦੇ ਹਾਂ, ਕਿਸੇ ਵੀ ਤਰੀਕੇ ਨਾਲ ਸਮਝ ਸਕਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਕਿ some people treat, or some people let's say name anger as assertiveness, or good anger, or bad anger, or righteousness, or along these lines. But we need to understand the difference between the assertiveness, the fearlessness, or let's say the moral courage. ਆਪਾਂ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਨਾ ਬੀਰ ਰਸ, ਜਿਹਦਾ ਬੀਰ ਰਸ ਆ ਗਿਆ, ਆਪਾਂ ਨੂੰ we need to understand ਕਿ the difference between few words which we come across on a daily basis. Now, if we say ki, let's pick up the assertiveness. Now, when we say we are assertive, then in that situation, assertiveness is to look not only at our own interest, but also to look at interest of the other people. So you're not just being selfish. Yes, you are assertive, but not hurting someone else's interest. So, ਜੇ ਆਪਾਂ true fearlessness ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਕਰੀਏ, true fearlessness ਉਹੀ ਬੰਦਾ show ਕਰ ਸਕਦਾ unless and until they are not hurting someone else's interest. For example, Bhai Taru Singh ji. Now, Bhai Taru Singh ji shown the full fearlessness. ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਖੋਪੜ ਲੱਥ ਗਿਆ, ਪਰ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਮੁਖ ਤੋਂ ਕੁਝ ਇਹੋ ਜੀ ਗੱਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਹੀ ਕਿ ਮੁਗਲ ਕਮਾਂਡਰ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਸੀਗਾ ਜ਼ਈਆ ਖਾਨ ਉਹਦਾ ਨੁਕਸਾਨ ਹੋਵੇ. 22 ਦਿਨ ਤੱਕ, ਸਾਧ ਸੰਗਤ ਜੀ, just think about it. For 22 days, Bhai Taru Singh lived without this scalp, We can't even imagine that. So much pain every single microsecond. You don't have your scalp on your head. We can't even think about the pain, let alone we can bear that pain. And imagine 22 days, but even then they haven't said anything for this. I would say like a butcher, Jide Bhai Taru Singh nu inna nuksan pachaya. एक word भी नहीं, but that was taste of fearlessness. ਹੁਣ ਅਸੀਂ ਉਹ anger ਦੇ ਨਾਮ ਤੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਜੋੜੂਗੇ. Just think about, you need to understand the difference, we all need to understand the difference between our anger state of mind and those words which some people use. Some people use to cover up their own angry minds. You must have heard in the newspapers, you must have heard on the digital media that, you know, when people become victim of, let's say, the terror attack, or let's say this wars are taking place, crimes, riots, and poor relationships and poor working conditions, and all these kind of consequences result from the anger. Now, ਜਦੋਂ ਤੱਕ anger ਆਪਣੀ control ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੈਗਾ ਆ, it's fine. We know that we are angry, and we know that this is the line of the control of the ਧਰਮ. ਤਦ ਤੱਕ ਸਾਰਾ ਕੁਝ ਠੀਕ ਆ, ਪਰ ਜਦੋਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਹੁਣ ਇਸੀ ਚੀਜ਼ ਨੂੰ ਭਾਈ ਤਾਰੂ ਸਿੰਘ ਵਾਲੀ ਹੀ ਐਗਜ਼ਾਮਪਲ ਨੂੰ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਇੱਕ ਚੀਜ਼ ਸਮਝਣ ਦੀ ਕੋਸ਼ਿਸ਼ ਕਰੀਏ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਆਪ ਹਾਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਮੰਨੀ, but they were aware that something will happen to this guy because he has played bad with the right person. ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਇੱਕ ਪੰਕਤੀ ਤੇ ਪੈਰਾ ਦਿੱਤਾ, ਭੈ ਕਾਹੂ ਕੋ ਦੇਤ ਨਹਿ ਨਹਿ ਭੈ ਮਾਨਤ ਆਨ. ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਿਸੇ ਨੂੰ ਨਾ ਭੈ ਦਿੱਤਾ, ਨਾ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਿਸੇ ਦਾ ਭੈ ਮੰਨਿਆ. ਨਹਿ ਭੈ ਮਾਨਤ ਆਨ, ਕਿਸੇ ਦਾ ਭੈ ਨਹੀਂ ਮੰਨਿਆ. ਪਰ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਇੱਕ ਗੱਲ ਦਾ ਪਤਾ ਸੀ, they were aware of one thing, ਕਿ this person have made me hurt, one day he will have to repay the fruit, and only 22 days. And you know, Sahib Sangat ji, for those 22 days this Mughal commander was unable to pass any urine or any urination. He was in such a big painful state. ਉਹਦੇ ਕੋਲੋਂ पेशाब नहीं लंघदा सीगा. So what I'm trying to say is कि fearlessness ਦੀ state is different state. ਭਾਈ ਤਾਰੂ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੀ ਨੂੰ ਵੀਰ ਰਸ ਸੀਗਾ, ਉਹ ਕਿਉਂ ਮੇਰੇ ਨਾਲ ਗਲਤ ਹੋ ਰਿਹਾ ਆ, ਕਿ ਕਾਹ ਤੇ ਹੋ ਰਿਹਾ ਆ, ਇਹ ਲੋਕੀ ਗਲਤ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ, ਜ਼ੁਲਮ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ, ਬਟ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਇੰਟਰਸਟ ਤੱਕ ਰੱਖਿਆ, ਆਪਣਾ ਖੋਪੜ ਲਵਾਤਾ, ਅਗਲੇ ਬੰਦੇ ਨੇ ਕੁਝ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਿਹਾ. ਭਾਈ ਮਨੀ ਸਿੰਘ ਦੇ ਮਨ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਸੀਗਾ, ਯੈਸ ਦਿਸ ਸ਼ੁੱਡ ਨਾਟ ਬੀ ਹੈਪਨਿੰਗ ਬਿਕਾਜ਼ ਦੇ ਆਰ ਡੂਇੰਗ ਰੋਂਗ, ਦੇ ਆਰ ਜਬਰਨ ਮੁਗਲ ਬਣਾ ਰਹੇ ਆ, ਜਬਰਨ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਦਾ ਧਰਮ ਕਨਵਰਟ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਆ. these things are still happening, but they just put it themselves in the situation and not anything else. Now we need to understand that many times we come across in this state of anger, but we don't even realize that we are actually in the state of anger, because we live in so much destructive world. It's very difficult for us to actually understand what are the signs. And Satsangati, when I was trying to understand what should I be saying, because you only got 40 minutes, 35-40 minutes, and it's a very very long topic, very deep topic to actually explain, I came across more than 200 words as a signal of a person or a human being actually is in the state of anger. I will not be able to name all of them, but maybe some of them can be named. Ki when we are, let's say, ਇੱਕ ਤੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਆਪਾਂ ਗੁੱਸਾ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਆ, when we show physical or verbal cruelty or rage or slapping or kicking or hitting or threaten or using a weapon, that's a very known form of being angry or known format of showing our anger to someone. But there are other ways which we may not know that we are actually in the anger state. For example, criticizing others, for example, finding the faults, nagging people, scolding, sarcasm, prejudice. These sare forms we ਹੈਗੇ ਆ, hurtful behavior, malicious gossip, stealing, all these abusive language, cursing someone, they are all results of our angriness. Because when do we curse someone? When do we use abusive language? When something is not happened as per our own will or wish, and then we become abusive. We didn't get the right words to use, and we start using abusive language because we feel that this state is not the normal state. This state is something more than normal, and let's use something different. Let's show something different so that person on the other side understand, I'm angry with you. Do something different. Rebellious behavior, antisocial things, taking offense very easily, refusal to talk, openly defines. All these words actually are part of an angry state of mind. Depression, guilt, serious mental illness. Apa depression ch kado aunde hain? Or when do we feel anxious? When something is not happening as we wanted to make it happen. But why? Why it's not happening? Because our mind is thinking about our own ego system, which is bringing down this anger down. ਜਦੋਂ anger ਸਾਡਾ fulfill ਨਹੀਂ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਆ, we become anxious. Oh my god, ਮੇਰਾ ਇਹ ਚੀਜ਼ ਪੂਰੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੋਈ ਹੈ, ਇਹ ਕਿਦਾਂ ਹੋਊਗੀ, ਪਰਸੋਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੁਣ lockdown ਹੋਇਆ, flights got cancelled, and people become anxious. ਮੈਂ ਘਰ ਕਦੋਂ ਜਾਣਾ ਆ, ਮੈਂ ਕਦੋਂ ਆਉਣਾ ਆ, ਕਿਦਾਂ ਹੋਣਾ, ਕੀ ਹੋਣਾ, ਕੰਮ ਕਿਦਾਂ ਹੋਣਾ ਆ. Anxious. Can we control anything? No, we can't. Then why are we running just literally blindly for these things which are not in our control? Being skeptical, when we distrust someone, when we become argumentative, when we are jealous of someone, when we challenge someone's attitude, when we become unforgiving, when we show, let's say, distracting actions, when these all, I mean, I've got more than 200 list of words which are actually state of our own angry mindset. Sat Sangat ji. So there are many examples when we may be angry, but we ourselves may not know that we are actually full of anger. No respect, disrespectful, revengeful, name calling, disappointed, being annoying with someone, being disgusting with someone, using slandering, backbiting, and suspicious nature of other people, and so on. So what I'm trying to say is कि ਜਦੋਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਇੱਕ anger ਦੀ state ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਆ, then definitely many times we don't even know कि we are actually in the state of anger. और इसी state of anger ਨੂੰ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਨੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਵੱਡਾ ਕਹਿ ਲਓ ਕਿ consequence ਵੀ ਦੱਸਿਆ ਆ ਕਿ ਇਸ anger ਦਾ ਸਾਡੀ body ਤੇ ਕੁਝ ਫਰਕ ਪੈਂਦਾ ਆ, ਕਿ ਇਸ anger ਦਾ ਸਾਡੇ mind ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕੁਝ ਫਰਕ ਪੈਂਦਾ ਆ. ਯੈਸ ਆ ਸੰਗਤ ਜੀ, ਇਸ anger ਦਾ ਸਾਡੀ body ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਫਰਕ ਪੈਂਦਾ ਆ. ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਗੁਰਬਾਣੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ, ਕਾਮ ਕ੍ਰੋਧ ਕਾਇਆ ਕੋ ਗਾਲੇ ਜਿਉ ਕ੍ਰੀਏਟਿਡ. ਕਿ ਸਾਡੀ ਬੋਡੀ ਤੇ ਵੀ ਫਰਕ ਪੈਂਦਾ ਆ ਕ੍ਰੋਧ ਦਾ, ਇਹ ਸਾਡੇ ਮਾਈਂਡ ਤੇ ਵੀ ਫਰਕ ਪੈਂਦਾ ਆ. ਸਾਡੀ ਮਾਈਂਡ ਤੇ ਕਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਫਰਕ ਪੈਂਦਾ ਸਾਧ ਸੰਗਤ ਜੀ? their anger state more than a time, then the hormones, energy, adrenaline ਸਾਰਾ ਕੁਝ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਆ. ਉਹ ਸਾਰਾ ਕੁਝ ਸਾਡੇ ਬੋਡੀ ਦੇ ਹੈਲਥ ਤੇ ਬੈਡ ਇਫੈਕਟ ਕਰਦਾ ਆ. Now, angry man's whole system undergoes a change. Headaches, hypertension, the digestion disturbances, heart attacks, and etc. etc. All these things do come in place, Sangaji. So it's not just us actually live in this unenlightened existence. It's an unenlightened word, and this makes us go into the state which are not natural. ਜੇ ਸਾਰੇ ਹੀ ਹੋ ਜਾਣਗੇ ਤੇ ਫਿਰ ਤੇ ਸਾਰੇ ਹੀ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਦੀ ਕਿਰਪਾ ਨਾਲ ਬ੍ਰਹਮ ਗਿਆਨੀ ਬਣ ਜਾਣਗੇ. ਪਰ ਗੁਰਬਾਣੀ ਕਹਿੰਦੀ ਹੈ, ਕੋਟਨ ਮੈਂ ਨਾਨਕ ਕਹੋ ਨਾਰਾਇਣ ਜਿਹੇ ਚੀਤ, ਕਰੋੜਾਂ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ ਇੱਕ ਬੰਦਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਆ ਉਹੀ ਆ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਦੀ ਕਿਰਪਾ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਜਿਹਨੂੰ ਉਹ state of mind ਮਿਲਦੀ ਆ. So yes, all of us are progressing to become one of them, but who will reach, only Maharaj knows. And because we don't know it can happen, what will gonna happen, this is a kind of the game plan for all of us कि हाँ ਅਸੀਂ लगे रहना ਆ, काम करते रहना आ, ਅਸੀਂ अपने ਵੱਲੋਂ जपते रहना आ और ਅੱਗੇ ਜਾਂਦੇ रहना आ. Now in the last only gonna say कि ਬਹੁਤ ਸਾਰੇ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਦੇ ਮਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਖਿਆਲ ਹੋਣਾ ਆ ਕਿ then how to control the anger, what should क्रोध नगर बहु भरया मिल साधु खंडल खंडा है. So when I say all of us are filled up calm and krodh, this is true, Gurbani says. And Sohla Kirtan Sahib di Skola Sahib di pankti ਕਹਿੰਦੀ ਆ ਕਿ ਕਾਮ ਕ੍ਰੋਧ ਨਗਰ, this body is filled up of calm and krodh, ਨਗਰ ਬਹੁ ਭਰਿਆ ਮਿਲ ਸਾਧੂ ਖੰਡਲ ਖੰਡਾ ਹੈ. Only society of saints, only society of the holy people, only society of the like-minded Gursikhs, only people who are positive, who speak positive, talk positive, walk positive, only by meeting them I can break these calm and krodh into bits and pieces. One pankti, ਇੱਕ ਪੰਕਤੀ ਨੂੰ ਅਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਖਿਆਲ 'ਚ ਰੱਖ ਲਈਏ. This is a lesson for ourselves also. ਠੀਕ ਹੈ, if people are slandering, let them do. How long they will do? 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, week, 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, rest of the life. Let them do it. Let them do it. But you have got this satisfaction that at least you are giving happiness to someone who is getting happier by slandering yourself. What a beautiful concept. ਆਪਾਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਪ ਨੂੰ ਇਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਸੈਟਿਸਫੈਕਸ਼ਨ ਦਈਏ ਕਿ ਐਟਲੀਸਟ ਕੋਈ ਨਿੰਦਕ ਤੇ ਖੁਸ਼ ਹੋ ਰਿਹਾ ਆ, ਸਾਡੇ ਕੁਝ ਤੇ ਚੰਗੇ ਭਾਗ ਨੇ ਕਿ ਸਾਡੀ ਨਿੰਦਿਆ ਕਰਕੇ ਕੋਈ ਖੁਸ਼ ਹੋ ਰਿਹਾ ਆ. ਲੈਟ them be happy and let them be happy for the rest of their lives. At least we achieve something. ਜਦੋਂ ਗੁਰੂ ਨਾਨਕ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਨੇ ਪੁੱਛਣਾ ਹੈ ਭਾਈ ਚੰਗੇ ਕੰਮ, ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਆਪ ਜੀ ਦੀ ਕਿਰਪਾ ਨਾਲ, ਬਾਕੀ ਤੇ ਪਤਾ ਨਹੀਂ, ਪਰ ਉਹ ਨਿੰਦਕ ਬਹੁਤ ਖੁਸ਼ ਸੀਗਾ, ਬੜੀ ਖੁਸ਼ੀ ਸੀ, ਸਾਨੂੰ ਇਸ ਗੱਲ ਦੀ ਸੈਟਿਸਫੈਕਸ਼ਨ ਹੈ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਕੋ ਨਿੰਦਕਾਂ ਨੇ ਨਿੰਦਕਾ ਕੀਤੀ, ਬਹੁਤ ਖੁਸ਼ੀ ਮਿਲੀ. ਤੇ let them do it. We cannot change, and we should not be thinking of change. We should not be thinking, because if they cannot leave their mindset of doing nindya, then why a holy person, why a saintly soul think of leaving their holiness and going into the route of slandering someone else? No, it's not of use. Who we want to prove? दुनिया की वडियाइयां ते 4 दिना वास्ते, only for 4 days. प्राइम मिनिस्टर ने अवार्ड दे दिता 4 दिना वास्ते, अपने पेरेंट्स ने अवार्ड दिता 4 दिना वास्ते. ਜਿਹੜੀ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਦੀਆਂ ਵਡਿਆਈਆਂ ਹੈਗੀਆਂ ਸਿਰਫ ਓਨਲੀ 4 ਡੇਜ਼. ਸਾਧ ਸੰਗਤ ਜੀ, ਗੁਰਬਾਣੀ ਦੀ ਪੰਕਤੀ, ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਦੀ ਵਡਿਆਈ ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਵੱਡੀ ਹੈ. ਉਹਦੇ ਘਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਗ੍ਹਾ ਸਿਰਫ ਸੱਚੇ ਬੰਦੇ ਨੂੰ ਮਿਲਣੀ ਆ. ਉਹਦੇ ਘਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ there is not even a micro single penny can be hidden from the Maharaj, from Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj. And ਸੱਚੇ ਬੰਦਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਹੈ. ਭਾਈ ਤਾਰੂ ਸਿੰਘ ਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਸੀਗਾ ਕਿ ਖੋਪੜ ਲਾ ਦੋ, ਕੋਈ ਟੈਨਸ਼ਨ ਲੈਣ ਦੀ ਲੋੜ ਨਹੀਂ. ਭਾਈ ਮਨੀ ਸਿੰਘ ਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਸੀਗਾ ਬਿਟਸ ਬਾਈ ਬਿਟਸ, ਲਿਮ ਬਾਈ ਲਿਮ ਕੱਟ ਦੋ, ਕੋਈ ਪ੍ਰੋਬਲਮ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈ. ਕਿਉਂ? ਕਿ ਸੱਚੀ ਦਰਗਾਹ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਤੇ ਥਾਂ ਮਿਲ ਜਾਣੀ ਹੈ, ਸੱਚੀ ਦਰਗਾਹ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਤੇ ਹਾਜ਼ਰੀ ਲੱਗੀ ਹੋਈ ਹੈ. ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੁਨਿਆਵੀ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਦਾ ਤਾਂ ਵੈਸੇ ਕੋਈ ਹੈ ਨਹੀਂ ਅੱਜ ਕੱਲ੍ਹ, ਵੈਸੇ ਵੀ ਕੋਈ ਕਿਸੇ ਦਾ ਕੀ ਹੈਗਾ ਆ. ਪੇਰੈਂਟਸ ਆਪਣੇ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਸਮਝ ਪਾਉਂਦੇ, ਬੱਚੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਪੇਰੈਂਟਸ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਸਮਝ ਪਾਉਂਦੇ. ਵਾਈ? ਬਿਕੋਜ਼ ਆਫ ਐਂਗਰ. So coming back to the topic, that from last 35 odd 40 minutes we are trying to understand कि what anger is and how we can control it. साध संगत जी, ਇੱਕੋ ਇੱਕ ਲਾਸਟ ਬੇਨਤੀ ਹੈ कि whenever we become angry, just start thinking about the consequence, start thinking about the reaction. ਆਪਾਂ ਨੇ responsive ਬਣਨਾ ਆ, reactive ਨਹੀਂ ਬਣਨਾ ਆ. ਇੱਕ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਦੀ ਕਹਾਵਤ ਹੈਗੀ ਆ, ਇੱਕ ਚੁੱਪ 100 ਸੁੱਖ. ਇਹਦਾ ਇਹੀ ਮੀਨਿੰਗ ਹੈ, ਜਦੋਂ ਕੋਈ ਬੰਦਾ ਗੁੱਸੇ 'ਚ ਹੈ ਨਾ, ਉਹਨੂੰ ਰੱਜ ਕੇ ਬੋਲ ਲੈਣ ਦਿਓ. ਐਂਡ ਦਿਸ ਇਜ਼ ਅ ਫੈਕਟ. if someone is saying you, by the time they will realize ਕਿ ਯਾਰ they are at fault, and they will ਚੁੱਪ ਕਰ ਜਾਣਗੇ, ਆਪਣੇ ਆਪ ਹੀ ਬਹਿ ਜਾਣਗੇ, ਤਾਂ ਪਤਾ ਲੱਗ ਜਾਏਗਾ ਕਿ ਉਹ ਬੰਦੇ ਗਲਤ ਨੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਪ ਹੀ. and at the end, no matter whosoever you prove, no matter whichever court you go, no matter wherever you go, someone will try and find something out of you. Someone will try and find something which is not as per their kind of satisfaction, as per their fulfillment, as per their ਕਰੀਏ. ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਦੇ ਚਰਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਬੇਨਤੀਆਂ ਕਰੀਏ, ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਕਾਮ ਕ੍ਰੋਧ ਨਗਰ ਬਹੁ ਭਰਿਆ, ਮਿਲ ਸਾਧੂ ਖੰਡਲ ਖੰਡਾ ਹੈ. ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਇਹੋ ਜਿਹੇ ਪੁਰਸ਼ਾਂ ਦੇ, ਇਹੋ ਜਿਹੇ ਗੁਰਸਿੱਖਾਂ ਦੇ, ਗੁਰਬਾਣੀ ਦੇ ਲੜ ਲਾ ਕੇ ਰੱਖੋ ਸਾਨੂੰ, ਗੁਰੂ ਗ੍ਰੰਥ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਦੇ ਲੜ ਲਾ ਕੇ ਰੱਖੋ. ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਵੱਡਾ ਸਾਧੂ, ਰਾਜਨ ਕੇ ਰਾਜਾ, ਮਹਾਰਾਜਨ ਕੇ ਮਹਾਰਾਜਾ, ਧੰਨ ਧੰਨ ਗੁਰੂ ਗੋਬਿੰਦ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੀ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ, ਧੰਨ ਧੰਨ ਗੁਰੂ ਗ੍ਰੰਥ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਜੀ ਦੇ ਲੜ ਲਾ ਕੇ ਰੱਖੋ ਸਾਨੂੰ, ਤਾਂ ਕਿ ਸਾਡੇ ਅੰਦਰੋਂ ਕਾਮ ਕ੍ਰੋਧ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਆ ਇਹ ਬਿਟਸ ਐਂਡ ਪੀਸਿਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਬਾਹਰ ਨਿਕਲ ਜਾਵੇ. ਸੋ if I said anything wrong, if I hurt anyone, please forgive me. I tried myself to stay within the boundaries of Gurbani. There were not many practical examples today because it's a very deep, very long topic. Maybe next week we come up with some practical examples how we can actually control, how different people have controlled their anger, how saintly soul usually control their anger. Maybe next week we come up with few of those examples to make it even more easier when we are in particular situation. How? ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ, ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ.